Hello everyone and welcome to the Animezilia, and today let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains episode 114, entitled Dreaming Roboppi. Now, what did I think of this episode? Overall, I really did enjoy it. Granted, this duel didn't really excite me all that much before this episode began. But with the reveals, the new cards, and the twists that came with this episode, I found myself overall thoroughly enjoying it. So we start off the episode with the peanut gallery, that being I and Kusanagi, basically just commentating on the current situation, reminding us of what's what and who's got the advantage and who's at the disadvantage. We didn't really need this, but oh well, I guess they're just filling up time, and hey, a reminder's never bad unless it's a recap episode, which, Vrains is kind of notorious for, but oh well, I digress. We then get a basically good segment as to where Soulburner is replenishing his field, because as the peanut gallery stated, his field lacks comparing to Roboppi's. And he manages to bounce back quite a few of Roboppi's face down cards, thanks to Link summoning Hitalio and a reincarnation Link summon. He also equips Hitalio with the Claw, and thanks to this, it looks like the Soulburner might prove to be victorious, because as we all know, the Claw that he adds to Hitalio allows him to attack 3 times. And thus, if all 3 attacks go through, then he manages to win. However, thanks to Roboppi's field spell, we get told that there's a new effect to it, which allows him to move one Link 1 monster in his main monster zone. This allows him to co-link his Link 1 monster with his Octopus monster, allowing Laundry Dragon to use his co-linked effect on Hitalio, thus removing it from the field. And if you think the crazy stuff stops after that, you'll be wrong, because the crazy just keeps on giving, thanks to Soulburner using the effect of Zebroid X, allowing him to special summon 2 level 4 monsters and exceed summoning midway through a battle phase, bringing out a new rank 4 monster known as Salamander Great Blaze Dragon. Its effect is that it allows you to avoid destruction from either effect or from damage by removing 1 overlay unit. And this other effect allows it to reincarnation exceed summon when it's being attacked with no overlay units. Now honestly, that skill is pretty overpowered from my perspective. Now granted, I'm not the best when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh card game, but to get an exceed monster again that can't be destroyed by battle damage or effect, and then losing that, getting it again, then using it, I don't know, it seems kind of like a loop that would be hard to get over, unless you can multiple attack each time. However, this scene and this monster reminded me of one thing in particular, and that is Utopia. Obviously it's a little bit different, but Utopia's effect allows it to stop a battle by removing 1 overlay unit. Technically, this is almost the same in terms of not being destroyed by battle, which makes it a little bit better, Blaze Dragon, because it can also not be destroyed by effect. But the fact that he reincarnation summoned with this card just reminded me of when Yuma would basically overlay using Utopia to create number C39, Utopic Ray? Utopia Ray, even. I don't know, I thought that might have been a little bit of a throwback to Zexal, but nevertheless, that's just what it reminded me of, and I thought it was pretty cool. And then we get really into the crazy stuff, as we get a shift in character personality for Roboppi, as we see him kind of get a bit too corrupt / power hungry after being attacked and barely surviving. His personality change comes along with a the change in design, really, because his eyes gain an outer red ring, and basically we see this universal kind of swirling galaxy appear in the depth of his eyes. And he also becomes more confident and more arrogant, again stating that he's probably strong enough now to defeat I and everybody else, and that he's definitely going to be the conqueror of the universe. One thing I did like about this episode as well, that it shows off the phrase, "Too much power can drive a person crazy," very, very well. As we see this change in Roboppi, and towards the end of the episode, and towards the end of this duel, his skills start to increase. But the real kicker is, he starts to transition between his appliancer self and the AI self. Due to this increase in power and smarts and everything else, he starts to become unstable, and thus the transitions start to occur. And just as a side note, with the voice acting in this scene, where we see the transitions between appliancer Roboppi and AI Roboppi, I think it was done brilliantly. It sounds nice and it sounds clean and smooth when switching, and it doesn't sound janky at all, and it just fitted very nicely. So this episode starts off by giving us some hype cards in terms of them being new and with pretty good skills. The crazy with Roboppi's character, and then we shift again to a more sad and emotional ending to this episode. As we enter into flashback mode, we see Playmaker thinking fondly of his time with the cleaning robot, before he tells Soulburner to finish Roboppi off, as the duel does continue, even after Roboppi reverts back to his appliancer self. And this scene for me was done absolutely correctly, as you don't often find emotion when you think of Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. And personally, I found this segment to be one of the few times within Vrains where you actually feel bad for a character. In this case, it's Roboppi, a good, honest kid that was just manipulated by I, and as a result, it was brought to ashes. I guess data would kind of be the more appropriate term, but oh well. And it was also nice to note that we did see I having some level of sadness after seeing what the effects of his system has done to his friend. So that shows that I does still contain these emotions that you wouldn't really associate with a villain having, basically. I know that he just wanted a companion, and he felt like Roboppi would be an ideal person to help him out. But he does also somewhat regret having Roboppi help him out and end this way, because he genuinely did care for him, despite the fact that it looked like a few episodes ago that he was using Roboppi as bait. And he might still have been doing that, but at the same time, he's in his own right to kind of feel upset about doing that as well. Another thing that really made me enjoy this episode at the end of this was the fact that we had a tone change from Soulburner, as he clearly didn't want to finish the job at the end of this, and the music was calm and it worked well with the visuals to help add to the overall scene and give it more emotional weight. Right then, so once everything settles down and we actually see Roboppi kind of going off, it's been ended, finished, we actually have an invitation from what looks like I, basically, because it's entitled Mr. Playmaker, and, you know, it seems to be the plot device that's going to be dragging our main cast forward. If you look at the next episode preview, which I don't normally watch, but I decided to this time around, we see Revolver basically coming down, descending like, I don't know, Zamasu or something from Dragon Ball Z, stating that he'll be the one to deal with the Dark Ignis. This obviously leads to the Revolver versus Soulburner duel, which is going to be an absolute nightmare for me to review because I keep getting those two names mixed up. So look forward to that next week. However, I'm actually intrigued just to see how this duel would turn out. I for one personally want to see Soulburner or Playmaker lose at some point. I don't want to see him go through the entire series without winning. But if I had to make a prediction, I do have to say that Soulburner probably would have to win again. Simply because if Revolver was able to like do whatever he wanted to do and just go straight for I feel like that's going to be rushing it a bit too much. Or maybe it could be the opposite, that he does win and he can go, you know, after I on his own, and it just proves that he needs to have backup, and thus the whole friendship thing kicking in again. But that would be a bit kind of cheesy. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this episode and of the potential result for the Soulburner versus Revolver duel. But all in all, guys, this episode had some, you know, good qualities in it. The animation overall was brilliant. I liked the animation. The music and sound effects and voice acting, perfect. And it had a somewhat of a good duel throughout the last 3 episodes. And obviously the great emotional weight that it brought. So that's going to do it for this review. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, smash that like button. Hey, subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. And until next time, I hope you'll have an amazing day. And I'll be catching you all next time. Bye for now.